Hey guys, welcome back to this week's episode of Beaneater Buzz. I'm Jordan Hunt, back here again with my friend Colleen McGuire. We've got some fun stuff going on this week. We're going over spring training final roster decisions. We've got who's hot, who's not. We've got some updates on some players and some over-under predictions for your favorite 2022 Braves, and probably a few other things that we'll go over. How are you doing this week, Colleen?
Doing good.
Yeah.
Feeling good.
Yeah. Feeling better than last week.
Definitely.
Yeah, I've got a little bit of scratchy throat now. So now it's not COVID related or anything. It's just weather, but I should be able to get through it. So anyways, yeah, man, the Braves, they kind of threw me for a loop today with the announcement. Well, first off, actually, before I get into that, Luke Jackson, let's talk about that. That's a pretty big blow.
Definitely. Yeah, it was unfortunate news to start the day.
Yeah, I feel like you probably just woke up to that, didn't you? When I sent you that text, I kind of figured because I hadn't seen you at all on Twitter, and usually I'll see you somewhere like in like especially in stuff like that. I guess you got Braves notifications on also.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hadn't seen you anywhere, and then like I texted you, and you didn't text me back for like 45 minutes, and then you were like, "Oh, that sucks." I was like, "Yeah." So,
it was just one of those things that you kind of feared whenever you hear forearm tightness, it's like, oh God, Tommy John is coming.
Yeah.
So it seems like it's all but certain, which
and
really is
the worst time possible for Luke Jackson, because he's getting ready to go into this arbitration hearing with the Braves, and the Braves are, they've got a whole new weapon now for him. They're going to be able to say, you can't even pitch this year, man. Why are we paying you this much money? And he's a free agent at the end of next season. So part of me wonders, if they will even, they can't non-tender him at this point. So they do have to give him a contract. But I guess they could, like some of the other players, make it non-guaranteed. And then if he's not able to pitch, I don't, it's really complicated. I don't know how it works at that point.
Right.
So that's what I worry about for Luke. And, it's going to affect his free agency too. Mm-hmm. If he had another season like last year going into free agency, that dude might get some money.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a bummer. Yeah.
Yeah, sucks for a lot of reasons.
And Luke Jackson's also a fan favorite.
Yes.
Especially amongst those of us on Braves Twitter, because Luke is like one of the most active Braves Twitter players.
Yeah.
And he, nice guy. You want to root for the dude. You want to see him on the field because when he's going right, he's really fun to watch. So that kind of, that was a bummer to wake up to. But sure, it does open the door for some other spring training competitions to take place. I think really the only thing that was undecided prior to that about the bullpen was Spencer Strider,
right?
And
seems like he'll get a chance, at least
while
like the rosters are
at least for the 28 man. And then but after that, do you really trust Thornburg and O'Day in high leverage spots? 6 years ago.
Yeah. But I guess if you look at like the other guys we have, right? Jansen, Smith, Matzik, McHugh, do you need that? Are O'Day and Thornburg like your fifth inning guys or that sort of thing? So.
And that's what I'm afraid of, is that they are more of those fifth inning guys. And, then you only have, and let's also kind of dive into McHugh there.
Yeah.
There was also speculation that he could be our long relief guy.
Yeah.
Or we could use him as an opener for 2 to 3 innings.
Mm-hmm.
And if we now have to use him out of the back end of the pen, we get pretty thin there on right-handed pitching.
Yeah, it does change. Yeah, it does change some things, especially like I know we had considered Jay Jackson as an option, but he's on the IL.
Yeah, he's on the 60-day as well.
And then
both
like
Jacksons.
So you're like, okay, maybe in the second half of the season, you get a couple of
that's a good point.
Righties back.
So if we can ride it until a June, and if we can bring Strider up and, for the first month, Strider is able to help out of the back end of the pen, that would be great. Obviously he's not going to be an 8th or 9th inning guy, but we could use him in the 6th or 7th. If we got to get some big right-handed bats out, and we don't want to use a Mentor or a Matzik.
And I think Strider would be a decent opener too.
I didn't even think about that. And I really like that. I really like that. Now, today's results aside.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's partially my fault because I sat down to watch the game. I turned it on. First batter he's facing is Josh Donaldson, right? And he throws like this second pitch fastball and just blows it past. It was either first or second pitch. I can't remember, but he just blows it past him. And like, you know how Donaldson is. He's a little bit animated when he has a big swing and miss. Like he's a little funny up there. And like, he had that look on his face, like, whew, that was a nice one. And then the next pitch or 2 pitches later, he throws a nasty slider that he tries to, roll over, and he ends up throwing his bat at Strider, and him and Strider have a good laugh about that. And then like next pitch, he just dots 97 on the outer half on the bottom half of the corner and strikes Donaldson out. And I was like, man. And I tweeted about it and I was like, that was a nasty sequence. Like he made JD look bad. And then he just dots him on 97 out and away. Like as soon as I hit send on that, Aaron Judge takes him deep. And I was like, all right. Like, I mean, like literally right. I was like, okay, yeah. Send, looked up, and it was like, bam. And I was like, all right, well, it didn't last that long, but I mean, it doesn't
take away from what the sequence was with Donaldson. It's
awesome and stuff. Honestly, the pitch that Judge hit was not a bad pitch. It was like 99 on the outer half. And Judge used their little spring training like version of the short porch. I think it came back and said it went 346 feet. That might not even go out of truest. So like, because it was kind of a low line drive too. So, but no, that's a very interesting possibility. I think, and especially since the Braves do like him as a starter, if they could use him as their long relief guy or in opener, then if, midway through the season, God forbid, Wright, Noah, Tucker, Muller, all those guys aren't getting it done, then yeah, we could potentially go to Strider as an opener or as a starter, and it wouldn't take that long to stretch him out if you've already been using him as an opener and a long relief guy. That's a good idea. I like that actually a lot. So
I better give Snit a call and just let him know. We're thinking about this, and I think it's a good idea.
I think I've got AA on speed dial. I'll give him a call. I'll send him a text. I hear he likes texts. So Freddie Freeman says he's not a big phone call guy. So yeah. Anyways. Yeah. And so, that was one of my big questions was about Strider. Would he make the team? Seems like a lock. Another big question I had was, are we going to carry 3 catchers? At this point, especially with the tweet that the Braves just sent out about Gosselin, and I thought it was even more interesting that Gosselin and Valleca both went down on the same day.
Yeah.
Valleca has not had a good spring by any measure, but he did hit a big 3-run homer yesterday. So I was like, oh, well, maybe he's got a shot. And then they send both of them down the same day. And it was like, all right, what are we doing with the bench?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. So I think it's the 3 catcher just to have the bat,
right.
That's
because
right. I mean,
all 3 of our catchers do have decent bats.
Yeah.
I mean, especially if Travis is able to continue doing what he's doing in spring. Pena hasn't looked great in spring, but again, he's a backup catcher and he's got some pop. So, I mean, if we need if we're in a spot and we need a right-handed bat that could potentially get us a big hit or maybe even a big extra base hit, Contreras, Pena, or Travis d'Arnaud, whoever's not playing that day, one of either three of those guys could give us that. So it does lengthen us there. And then we know we saw Contreras in the outfield. I don't know how many of us really felt about that, but it's an interesting caveat there. So, and the biggest takeaway for me from all of this is Sean Newcomb. And I hate to say Sean Newcomb's name like that, but you and I talked about this week. It's time. It's over. We've tried everything with Sean Newcomb.
It's just, I don't know what else there is to see. Like, he's given you everything that it's possible to give, and we know what he is. Like, yes, he can come out there and just like pound the strike zone and look insane, and then the next inning he comes out and walks the world. Yeah, just, there's zero consistency with him. You never know what Sean Newcomb you're going to get.
And that's
willing to continue to do that. I mean, unless you're giving him the Tomlin role, where we're like, okay, we're down 9 or up 9, we just need a guy to throw some pitches, and that's what they do with him. There's no way this guy should be coming in for anything close to high leverage.
Come what? I mean, mid-July, August, we were even like, all right, Josh, look, we like you, man, but you're a BP pitcher, and we might keep you around as a BP pitcher, At
least Tomlin could throw strikes, though. I feel like you could,
could.
Tomlin will come there and at least throw strikes. Newcomb, it's like,
but the rest of his stuff started to lose its its luster, so it wasn't, it was just flying. And I mean, maybe that is why they're keeping Nuke around, because they know that there's potential that they could upgrade the team in a few weeks, or even at the trade deadline. God forbid we keep Sean Newcomb on the team till the trade deadline. But I mean, and I will say, credit to Sean Newcomb for not giving up, man. Like, he's done everything you could possibly want him to do. He's gone to Driveline. He has said, okay, I haven't been a good starter, so I'll go to the bullpen. And then they said, hey, we'd like to at least try you again as a starter. He said, all right, I'll do that again. They said, that's not working. And then they said, okay, well, we'll use you out of the bullpen again. Oh, well, we're going to send you down because you haven't been great. And he's gone through all of that. And I mean, I've not seen him seem to be frustrated with the organization or anything. Every time I've seen videos of him, he's looking normal and happy or whatever. So I do give Sean Newcomb some credit there. So that's, that is what it is.
Yeah. Nothing against him as a person.
I hate saying
that's
that,
for sure.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. And like we said, Alex could have a Matt Joyce type move planned, or Justin Upton got let go today. I don't know how I feel about that, but he could be a Pablo Sandoval type guy who just comes in and like Snit's just like, hey, go out there and swing as hard as you can, and if you can hit one a mile, great. And then we'll trade you in 4 months for Eddie Rosario and win the World Series.
I think that's how it works.
I think that, or no, this year we can't trade him for Rosario. We'll just trade him for Soler. Yeah. We'll get him back and we'll win the World Series again. It's foolproof. So some of the updates on spring training. I kind of went over just kind of who's hot and who's not, like what guys I see coming into the season and they're playing some of their best baseball. The first one I wrote down, which was very interesting because I actually saw somebody say, why are we even giving this guy a shot? He's only got like 2 hits this spring. And that's Alex Dickerson. And he does only have 3 hits. One of them's a double and 2 of them are homers. So, I mean, I like that ratio. It's pretty good. And yes, of course, okay. And I did write down he's batting 188. So again, I get a lot of people look at batting average, but you got to look deeper than that. He walked 7 times so far. That's pretty good. I mean, at least he's getting on base. He's got an on base percentage of 417.
Yeah.
OPS over 1,000. So
that will play
again. Short spring, 16 at bats. So give the guy time. I'm sure he'll start slapping some of those, weak singles that some of these old head likes, love so much. But I'm good if he just gives me a home run every few at bats. I mean, if you're giving me three extra base hits for every 16 at bats, I like it. I'm good with it.
Along with the walks, along with,
of course,
he's getting on base. All right.
Getting on base. It's the money ball scene. Like, what do you like about
on base?
It's on base. So, and Travis d'Arnaud having a great spring, not being talked about enough. He's OPSing
2 homers this week.
Yeah, 2 homers this week. OPS in 1186 and 400 on base percentage. Everything I've seen from d'Arnaud has been awesome. I've liked what I've seen. So, and we all know that d'Arnaud only played 60 games last year. He played 60 games the season before that too and was ridiculous, but he didn't have surgery and a broken thumb in between 30 of those games. So I think Travis d'Arnaud gets a little bit more of a chance from me than a normal catcher would in that sense. McHugh, looking pretty good. Again, I've not really seen him pitch. I saw one of the pitching ninja videos, and he threw this curveball that was just absolutely disgusting.
What was it, like 72 inches or something? It was like a ridiculous number.
It looked like it started at this dude's eyes and ended at his shoestrings. It was crazy. Yeah. So, and that's what he was brought here to do. Hasn't allowed a base runner, only 2.1 innings, but I'll beat that door. I don't care. If it's only 2.1 innings, whatever, that's 2.1 innings of nobody scoring runs, and I'm happy with that. So, Matt Olsen hit his first home run as a Brave, and we waited way too long for a video of that. And then we
happened to be a game that wasn't, on broadcast. So I was like, does anyone have footage of this?
Well, what threw me off is then we get the footage of it, and it's like, this is a broadcast video. Who was broadcasting this game?
Somebody was filming it.
But it was, it was a tank, man.
Yeah. It left, I think.
It's
out of the concourse. Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to judge in those spring training parks that we don't see often. Now, if that ball was hitting Truist and I saw where it landed, I'd be able to be like, yeah, that's 432 right there. And I'd say it was around 430 feet or something like that. It was, it was a tank.
Thinking about where in Truist that is, like to the left of the chop house or right if you're sitting
right.
It's like that's pretty far. That's about where it would have been, I think.
The place I think about that it kind of looked like it might have landed was where Freddie's home run in the World Series landed. And they said that was like his longest homer of the year. Well, this is Matt Olsen's first one as a Brave, so we win.
He wants to hit him there more often.
And I'm sure, Olsen has a lot more power than Freddie does. That's for sure. He sells out for it. Now, that's not a secret to anybody, but I was looking up his stats and stuff against left-handed pitching last year, because we've talked about, his breaking the record for however many left-handed homers against a left-handed pitcher, 22 last year, more than Barry Bonds, more than Ken Griffey Jr., and he had a 159 weighted run created plus against left-handers. And I was just like, whew, that is some power. And just a measly 138 against right-handers. So,
man, that's it. Okay.
That's it. And
I can deal with that.
Yeah. Lots of tough right-handed pitching in the NL East. So, and then the only other, who's playing well guy is, we just touched on another one, but I'll go over Ozzie first. Ozzie is doing quite well.
He is.
He's hitting 304. He's got a homer, a couple RBIs, 824 OPS.
And the one homer, I don't know if he's hit more than one, but the one homer was from the right side, which is just like
it was.
It's great.
And I looked it up last night
because
I thought he hit 2, and then I looked it up and it was apparently only 1. But I don't know. I still think Matt Olsen's hit 2, but Byron Buxton is just a freak.
Oh yeah.
So,
that's right.
That's the way I look at that. So
dead center. Yeah.
It was. Did you see the play that Billy Hamilton made?
Yes. Gosh.
my Lord, if that guy could even hit 220, he'd be an all-star every year. I mean, with his speed and his defensive abilities, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
Braves legend guy. He's one of those.
Yep.
So, the who's nots. For the first part of this, I just wrote down the rotation.
Yeah,
because this week specifically has been quite rough. Fried got lit up. Anderson got lit up. Davidson got lit up. He was probably the best of the three, though. And then today, we send Strider out there, and Strider gets lit up, and it's just like Strider's probably not going to make the rotation, clearly, but still not fun to see. But I saw where you told somebody, I'm not going to panic now because it's not the first, it's not, the season hasn't started.
And it's like one of those things, if this is that last spring start, so this is when okay, well, let me work on this a little, or let me try this, or tweaking things. So it's like, it's not great when guys are hitting homers off, whatever it is you're throwing, but you're figuring things out. So I'm fine with it. If it's continues to happen, if Reed, has an outing like that on opening day, then it's like, well, that's not good, but I'm not worrying yet until I have to. So.
Right. And Fried has notoriously said that he does do stuff like that in his last, starts and stuff, like, especially since he has the last couple years worked in a few more, I don't want to call them off-speed pitches. I guess they are off-speed pitches. He's got the big curveball. He's got the slider, but then he's also got a cutter, which is a fastball still. But, he utilizes those a little bit more than he used to. So, yeah, I'm with you. Like, if he's just working on stuff, I don't care if he's getting lit up. I want him to learn to get that across, because next week he's starting opening day, which we can kind of talk about that. Second straight opening day. And, last year didn't go great. He didn't get the win. He lost to Philadelphia. It was the first week of the season last year. We were just going, what is happening? Because it was
feel like it was just unlucky stuff.
That's all it was.
The next day, it was like the ground. It was like that Phillies like luck that the grounders are finding holes, and
for whatever reason,
poorly.
The Phillies, the first week of the season, are always ridiculously good. I think it's just super hype, and then they realize, oh well, maybe we're not as good as we thought. But and maybe
that continues.
Maybe this year they will be. I don't know. I personally, I don't think so. I know a lot of people like what they did to the bullpen. I don't think they did enough. But that's just getting off the topic. So yeah, Fried, I mean, last year didn't go great, but like you said, it was just a bunch of bad luck first couple weeks of the season. So was what it was. I think Fried will be perfectly fine next week. He is going to be facing a not so pretty looking Cincinnati Reds lineup that doesn't have a Jesse Winker. It doesn't have a Nick Castellanos. It doesn't have, what's his name? Eugenio Suarez. All those guys are gone. It's pretty much Jonathan India, Votto, and then Moustakas if he's healthy, which he's never healthy. So, I mean, good for that guy. He just banked in on a 4-year deal and then like never showed up to play. I hate it for the Reds, but good for him, because he couldn't get anything more than a 1-year deal for a few years. And then finally he turned it into a 4-year deal, and he just couldn't play baseball anymore. And then, a couple other guys not hitting well. Ozuna, Dansby, Rosario. But like you said, Dansby had 2 hits yesterday. So that's good. We've seen Ozuna had the big home run. He's had some RBIs. Rosario's done not much of anything. But again,
he had one hit this week. Yeah. Riley, I think, only had like 1 hit this week after he hit the couple homers last week. That's
a guy who was right in the middle. Like, I couldn't put him on, he's hot, because he has fallen off from what he was doing last week. But I also couldn't put him on, oh, he's not doing anything, because he's Riley. He had 2 homers in a game last week. And I believe
it's
more
such a small sample size too. I mean, I feel like just week to week in the regular season, you have weeks that you're just not good, and then you tear it up the next week. So it is.
Yeah.
We look at it as like, oh, this week in the spring, but it's really hard to judge anything as what.
And especially home run wise with Riley, he's a guy who goes on home run streaks.
Yeah.
So like he'll, not have one for a week or two, and then a week will come up, he'll hit 4 or 5. And then I remember last year, Pittsburgh came to town to Truist, and he had 2 2-homer games in that series. And Ozzie Albies had a 2-homer game. So in all 3 games of that series, a Brave had 2 home runs, and it was like, man, Pirates.
There was also the series, because I was on Baseball Savant the other day, and I was like watching home run videos. So I was watching a bunch of Riley's home run videos, and there was a series.
Why not?
That series in July in New York against the Mets, and he hit.
Oh yeah,
I think 4 home runs. I was at one of the games that he hit a home run, but he hit like the grand slam.
Oh, that's cool.
He had a 2-homer game, and then I think he hit 4 in the series. So that's just an example of that. It's like he'll just sometimes tear it up like that. So I'm not worried about Riley. I'm not. No. And if that's who Riley is, if he's going to be that streaky guy who one week he's Mike Trout, and then the next week he just, has a couple hits, maybe a homer, maybe a double, like that's awesome. Yeah. I'm good with that. So not a lot to touch on the whole who's not thing, but that kind of is what it is. I thought it would be fun if we could kind of both kind of recap how we feel about the first series of the season and what it looks like. I've got the Braves going 3-1. I was looking at the pitching matchups and just knowing the Braves and how against nobodies they sometimes just can't hit. I'm like, I can see him splitting this series.
I mean, I can always see a split in a 4.
I'm like, that's obviously if it's anything worse than that, that's a terrible way against the Red, to start.
Now, if we go 1-3,
that's what I'm saying. If it's anything worse than 2-2, then we're in trouble.
Yeah, we go 1-3. I'm pissed.
It should be at least a 3-1. I can see it being a 2-2. I can see like them struggling against these like nobody pitchers. That's just a thing that they do a lot. So I said 2-2. I'm just like, that's kind of where I'm like at.
Yeah, and watch them just sweep them. Watch them just run them over. Just because we're and we always have this conversation every year in spring training where people are like, oh, this guy's not playing well. I mean, what? 2 years ago, it was like Ronald Acuna's just not doing anything. It's like, and maybe it was last year. And then he goes into the season and it's just like, boom. And that adrenaline and all that stuff, it's not there in spring. Nobody's in spring training like, man, I've got to get pumped up for these games because they matter. Well, they don't matter. That's the exact point. That's why they're there. Home
crowds and things.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like, nobody cares about that. Yeah. And you think those guys aren't going to go into that Cincinnati series?
Oh my gosh. Just, I can't imagine. It's so exciting that they're starting at home and just the hype, the pennant and all that. It's so exciting. I'm just like,
thank God.
See them sweeping the series because of the crowd and all that stuff, just pumping them up so much. So
right. Thank God for Rob Manfred. Right. Because if not, we'd be starting in fucking Miami. And that just
absolutely.
In Miami against Jorge Soler. And it would have been like,
Yeah, so Rob Manfred is good for something, I guess.
Yeah, so
but it is pretty cool.
Thank God for his ineptitude. I think we're gonna have a good series. Votto is always, for whatever reason, well, I mean, not for whatever reason, Votto is a Hall of Famer. Yeah. But he seems to really step it up against us. I don't know what his problem is. I don't know if he hates us or what. I don't know if maybe we wanted to sign him at one point and then we told him not, like, whatever, boo. But he seems to have some grudge against us because he seems to hit 3 home runs every time he plays us. So I do worry about Votto, especially with Morton and Anderson. And I guess Wright's coming after that.
Yeah.
I got us winning that game.
With Wright?
Yeah.
He's my guy.
Yep. That's our guy.
Yeah, no, that would be
Beaneater
awesome.
Buzz is going to run the Kyle Wright train into the ground this year. And he's going to be, you know, I'm with you. I was not sold on it until I saw the article about him having got a mental health coach and all that stuff. And I was like, yeah. Was it Tyler Matzik? Did he just like, did he just, just, I don't know if you ever read the story about Tyler Matzik that came out this off season about him working with the Navy SEAL and stuff.
I remember it coming out. I think I saved it. I don't know if I actually ever read it.
Man, I got to see if I can find that and send it to you. It is like, no wonder
the story is so good,
man. He's the best. No wonder baseball doesn't bother him, because what that dude put him through was just like, why the fuck would anybody do that to themselves? And I mean, clearly he wanted to play baseball. He cared about being a Major League Baseball player. And his wife, from everything I've read from him talking about his wife is awesome. She, she just kept telling him, like, you're not giving up on this. And if Kyle Wright can find some of that Tyler Matzik energy from having a health coach and stuff, because Daniel Bard, the guy who plays for the Rockies, almost the exact same story. He fell out of baseball for years, had the yips, couldn't throw strikes. Once he got his head back, then the Diamondbacks hired him to be their mental health coach. And he was so good at it that he fixed himself. And now he's, he's not playing for anybody special. It's the Rockies, but they signed Chris Bryant for whatever reason. so yes, back to Kyle Wright. I'm on board with Kyle Wright. I think he's going to win that game, and
I hope so.
Everybody's just going to be right back in World Series mode going into that series. It just feels like a series that you have to come out of 3-1.
Yeah.
So I think Fried and Morton will be fine. I do worry about Anderson sometimes, but I worried about him in the World Series, and then all he did was hit him for 5 innings. So.
Yeah, Anderson, it's like the pitch count and the walks.
That's the thing that bothers me.
That's exactly the issue. If he can like consistently find the strike zone, his stuff is so good, but he gets a little wild sometimes, and he puts the guys on, and that's why he can't get past the 5th inning, but he has the stuff. So yeah.
I'm with you. So you said you had, did you go over that top 100 players stuff, or?
I have it here. I didn't do it yet, obviously.
Well, no, that's what I was saying. I didn't know if you had written all that down, because I know you were going to throw that at me. I did accidentally see the top 10, and that would be courtesy of Braves Twitter, who burned the internet down for about 2.5 hours over that. It is kind of peculiar that Freddie Freeman could not crack the top 10 for, I don't know, 12 years now?
He was number 4 last year, which
he was number 4, but Ronnie was in front of him, right?
Or around there. I don't know, but I mean, also he had just won the MVP, so I feel like now he's a year older. So but
still,
I forget. Yeah, I don't know. I remember what.
It's not better than. Hold on, I'm gonna see if I can look that up.
I know on the like list it says like where they were last year, and I didn't. I feel like Ronnie was like top 5, maybe. I don't know if he was top 3 though, so he might have been behind Freddie last year too. Not that he should have been. But I guess when you're looking at the MVP, that's a little bit.
Let's see. Top 10 players 2021. I don't know if this is it or not. No, this isn't it. Okay, here it is. Well, this is ESPN. That was an MLB article, right?
This is the MLB.
Well, ESPN's got a different. Okay, here it is.
I got it here, yeah.
So 1 was Trout, 2 was Mookie.
He was 7. Ronnie was 7.
Freddie was 4. Okay. So now we all feel like a bunch of idiots. So actually, Ronnie made up ground on Freddie, even though he lost ground.
That's true. But it's still, I still have thoughts. I was still angry when I read it.
He had almost an identical F4
in half a season.
In half the season. And it's just like I get it. Whatever. You never know what's going to happen after a knee injury. But you still got Jacob deGrom at number 7. And
Tatis at 3, and Tatis is hurt too. You don't know what he's going to give you when he comes back.
Tatis is on a mental breakdown or some shit. Like, what is going on there? I assume you saw the video of him like driving down the street, like sticking his head out the window, like yelling at the dude behind him. Oh,
I just knew he had the wrist thing. I did.
No, dude, this happened like a week ago.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Oh yeah. Oh man, it was on TikTok or something like that. And he's just like, flying. He had to do like 80 miles an hour or something like that. And he's just like sticking half his body out the window while he's driving. And it's just like, dude, you're going to be such a tragedy. Not because something's going to happen to him, but because he's just, it just feels like he's unraveling. And I hate that because I like Tatis a lot.
Yeah.
But also injuries.
Yeah. He's had so many different, like, I feel like every year he's had some kind of injury. It's always a different
weird
thing.
Injuries. And they always acknowledge them in a weird way. It's so funny because the Mets kept going, we're going to be the West Coast or the East Coast Dodgers, And that's what they were shooting for, but they missed the mark. And now they're the East Coast Padres and we're the East Coast Dodgers. And it's just two joke organizations that seem like they should be doing awesome. And everything is going wrong. So I won't dive in too far into that. So, but Freddie over Acuna shocked me. But now,
do you want me to go through the Braves that were on the list and what number they were?
Let's do that. Yeah.
Okay. So there weren't that many of them, but
because I haven't seen any of it except for Ronnie.
So the highest was Ozzy at 57. Fried at 48.
I think Fried is. Oh, wait. Okay. So the highest was Ozzy. I thought you meant like that was the next one after Ronnie. So that's not bad. 57.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Okay.
So Fried at 48. Riley at 34, which I don't even think he was ranked last year. So I'm like, that's
really good.
For not.
Now, I don't know how I feel about Riley in front of Fried. He had an excellent season, but Max Fried's Max Fried.
Yeah, and especially Max Fried's second half.
That's my ace. I'll fight somebody over Max Fried.
Matt Olsen was at 26, which he was in like the 60s last year. So I'm like, that's pretty good. His season was so similar to Freddie's to be 16 different or whatever it is, but it's always a bias involved.
Now, so this means that Charlie Morton did not make the top 100.
He did not, and that was the thing I hadn't even thought about, and someone pointed out. So Cody Bellinger
with a 545 OPS and a 45 OPS plus. Come on.
So that's definitely because I feel like just like Fried and Morton had such good seasons. If you're going to put Fried at 48 and you don't even put Morton on the list. So that was, so those are the ones that didn't crack the top 10, but that were on there. And then, so the top 10, of course, Ronnie was 10, Freddie was 9, Vladdy was 8, deGrom 7, Mookie Betts 6, Harper 5, Soto 4, Tatis 3, 2 Trout, and then number 1 was Ohtani.
I think they've got Ohtani too high.
Right. And I guess it's the right now. Are we just basing it on last season? Ohtani's awesome. Totally deserved the MVP. I was all on board for that.
But I love Ohtani. Yeah. I love him. He totally deserved the MVP. But Mike Trout, man.
Yeah. Best player in all of baseball. I don't know.
He might be the best player to ever live.
Yeah, Ohtani. I'm saying like Ohtani, best player in all of baseball right now.
Because
I don't know. I feel like Mike Trout just like consistently is the guy. I know he was injured last year, so I don't know.
I do have him top 5. I could see Ohtani be top 5. Was Judge in that top 10? Did I just miss that?
He wasn't. He must have been close. He was not.
That's interesting.
I just to me, I have the list up here, so I'm gonna look. Judge is 11. Judge was 11.
Oh, okay. So he just
12. Trey Turner 13. Yeah. Ronald Acuna Jr. is at worst,
Dude,
a top 5 player in baseball.
At worst. I mean, if
I can see a guy like Soto ahead of him. I feel like Soto's just such a complete hitter that like you can't.
Soto is insanely good.
Trout, obviously. I feel like Acuna, I'm putting him top 3. Okay.
This is my question.
There? Maybe if you ask everyone, they're not going to say that, but like Ronald Acuna Jr. is a superstar.
on so many facets of the game.
Yeah.
Offense. I mean, like he hits for average. He hits for power. He gets on base at a high clip. He is one of the best base runners in baseball. Mm-hmm. He's one of the best base stealers in baseball. He hits the ball harder than almost everybody else in baseball. Now I've not looked that up, but I know that at one point last year, he had like a 98 mile an hour exit velocity for like the first month. And I was like, how is that humanly possible? But he was just on another planet. And then you're going to knock him that far down just because of a knee injury. Like part of me wonders, okay, if he had played the full season and he had hit, if he had played
the MVP or something like that.
Yeah, if he had won the MVP
probably at least top 5. Yeah.
And maintained, well, I'm not
he
even
hit
top
9
5.
F4, 8 F4,
if
whatever.
He maintained all that and he gets to a 9, 10 F4, whatever, are we now talking about him being the best player in baseball?
Possibly.
That's what I don't understand about it. Yeah. But at the same time, I kind of love it. Because Ronald Acuna,
I mean, even just like the Braves in general, they just are always underrating them.
Always, man.
And it's always like, let's just prove them wrong. So
I try so hard.
You want to put me number 10? All right, I'll show you.
I try so hard not to believe in this MLB media bias and stuff, but and
it's like obviously subjective.
Really tried hard to prove it right the last few years. Subjective, sure.
And part of it's probably just to make people talk about it, but it is still just like, come on, I don't see how Mookie Betts is at 6 and Ronnie's at 10. I just don't see that. I would see switching them maybe if you put Mookie Betts at 10 and Ronnie at 6.
Like, well, I think they had Mookie at 2 last year. So he has fallen quite a bit. And
not that Mookie's a great player.
Mookie is an amazing player. But
yeah, he was 2 last year.
You put a player you put a player like that in Boston, right? He's a top 3, top 4 player in baseball. You put a player like that in Dodger Stadium, he loses a lot of his power potential because he doesn't have the green monster. He doesn't have the pesky pole. And also, the Dodgers live by that whole star power thing. We'll go get your franchise player. You beat us, we'll go get your franchise player. Like, I don't know. I do like Mookie in the top 5, but I liked him so much more when he was a Red Sox. He's just so much more likable.
But he didn't get in our way.
Yeah.
I remember him in 2020 in the NLCS. It was just like defense, offense. He was just like torturing the Braves.
Defensively,
like, oh Mookie,
especially,
again,
man.
It'll be too soon.
Oh, my God. He robbed Ozuna. He robbed Freddie.
I mean, he's probably the reason we actually lost that series because
100%.
There was a couple of hits
that little shoestring catch he made. That isn't that
when Ozuna tagged too early.
Yes, that's what happened. Yeah, I knew there was something crazy that happened.
There was like at least 3 I can think of,
and it was just like
changed the series. Yeah.
If that play doesn't end up that way, if he doesn't make that catch, it might be that simple. If he doesn't make that catch, we win that series.
I think we were up because was that game 7 or was that game? I can't remember.
That was game 6.
Okay, and we were like already up 1-0 or 2-0
Yeah,
something. It would have been less outs, and nope. Absolutely.
And that was when everybody was like momentum, and I was like, oh God, Jesus Christ, momentum doesn't mean anything. You're only as good as your next day's pitcher. That old saying, whatever.
Yeah, and 2020 it doesn't hurt as much anymore, obviously.
No,
but it's still like there's certain things I think of and I'm like,
in fact, it's a little more fun.
Wow, the little things that could have changed.
It's like they went and they learned so much that season. And then when the 2021 World Series came, they were just like the rawest underdogs that have ever existed. Everybody was just like, they're not beating the Brewers. Oh, okay. They got lucky against the Brewers. They're not beating the Dodgers. Oh, okay, they got lucky against the Dodgers. They're not beating the Astros. Oh, okay, they got lucky against the Astros.
Oh,
No,
wait a second. They just won the World Series. Oh,
No.
well, maybe we
no. And then they were like,
Rated them a
Freddie
little
Freeman
bit.
is God. And it was like, yeah, okay, yeah. We've been telling you that for 12 years, but you haven't listened to us. So, yeah. But now, did you write down who was around the other guys? If you didn't, I was
have
just
it up. So I can pull it. Let's see where he was 57. Let's see what we got here. So if Ozzy was 57, I mean Brandon Crawford was right behind him. Brandon Lau was ahead of him. And there was a bunch of catchers in the 50s there too, like Will Smith, Realmuto, Grandal. So I don't know why they kind of landed him there, but who else do we have? Max Fried. So Robbie Ray was right ahead of him, and Urias
What?
was right behind him.
what?
But Robbie Ray just won the Cy Young.
Yeah, but that was so fluky, man. That
It
was,
kinda
I
was.
mean,
It
come
kinda
on.
was. Yeah,
20
I don't know. It's like I don't know what is they're basing it on just last year or what, but I feel like if they were basing it on just last year, Robbie Ray would be higher. So
Yeah,
that's why I'm like,
I understand
is
that.
it just
But,
an in general thing? Yeah, so I don't really know, but yes.
but
let
if
me
you
see what
look
have.
at like Robbie Ray's batted ball profile, and maybe it got much, much, much better from when we faced the Blue Jays. But I remember when he was just mowing down Braves, and like everybody, there was like a picture of his batted ball profile going around, and it was like the Braves are just getting like clobbered by this, and it was horrible.
Mm.
So I just don't buy that, man. Like, I like Robbie Ray. I hope he does great in Seattle.
He definitely had a career year. I mean,
Oh,
prior to
yeah,
that, he
dude.
walked the world. Like it wasn't like
If you going into 2021, okay, I remember he gets a 1-year, $8 million contract from the Blue Jays. And I remember literally saying, $8 million for Robbie Ray, that's a lot of money. And I was like, why are they giving him $8 million? This is the best $8 million Toronto ever spent.
Yep, got him a Cy Young. Got him.
And
What was it? 5 years with Seattle. Yeah.
could you imagine putting
Seven.
money on that? If you'd have put $50 on
To win this,
on
yeah.
Robbie Ray winning the Cy Young, you'd have won $1 million.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
just crazy. Oh,
What else do we have in here? So 34 Riley. So right ahead of him was George Springer, and Bo Bichette ahead. So it was like
wow.
Anderson, Bichette, Springer, Riley, and then behind him Muncy and Castellanos.
There's some big names right there, so he's getting some love. I like that.
I mean, yeah. Austin, if last year is what Austin Riley is, man.
The Braves are gonna be so fun.
Oh, this core is so good, man. Let's see. Olsen 26, who's at Zach Wheeler was 25, and Burns was 24. So that's decent company to be 26, and those guys, Goldschmidt, Altuve around him. So
I like Burns, but I have recently changed my opinion on the National League Cy Young for 2021. Zach Wheeler should have won that.
I agree. I thought he should.
I mean, he blew him away in innings.
And I feel like Joe Girardi's the reason he didn't, because he kept him in too long, and it like.
Oh yeah, and it screwed him up, man. Like, tried to throw complete games and then you give up like a 3-run homer.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, that was rough.
Agree.
So.
Yep.
And then I think you had. So okay, over unders. Those are fun. Let's do those.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get into it. Okay, so the first one that I have is just the Braves wins. So Vegas and DraftKings were a little different for some reason. So Vegas has it at 90.5 and DraftKings has it as 91.5.
I actually watched a profile and projection from John Boy and 2 hours ago, and they were talking about the 90.5. All of them took the over. I'm going over on that.
I'm going 95 wins. I'm going just why not?
You're going homer.
Absolutely over.
You're going homer.
Absolutely.
That's
over,
fine.
But yeah, no, I absolutely think over. I don't see this team winning less than 92 games.
Well, that's right where I've got him. It's 92 wins. So
yeah,
I'm good with that.
Yeah, but definitely over. 100 wins. Let's do it.
Hey, we didn't think the 2019 team would win 100 games, and they almost did it.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you never know. And DeGrom and Scherzer are so unknown right now. Whew, That's some
Poor
big
Mets,
hits
man.
right there. God, dude,
Can't
they
imagine
are.
being a Mets fan. Two of my best friends are Mets fans, and I'm just like, I'm sorry.
Dude, they went to sleep. They went to sleep 2 days ago, and they were like, Jacob DeGrom is starting opening day. And then the next day, Max Scherzer's pitching. And we got Dom Smith, and he's going to be, awesome for us. And then they wake up today, and it's, yeah, we lost DeGrom yesterday. Today, we're telling you that Scherzer might not be ready for opening day. And, oh, yeah, by the way, we're about to trade for Eric Hosmer. Like, what?
I don't know what the Mets are doing.
Yeah, that is a wild trade.
Yeah. But yeah, and it's like, I know obviously DeGrom and Scherzer, it's like the Mets are a division rival and everything. And like, it might be good for the Braves if they're injured and stuff like that, but it's bad for baseball for those guys to be injured. Yeah. So I'm like, you kind of look at it that way and you're just like,
especially Jacob DeGrom.
That's like a 1-2 that any team would dream of. And to know like they're both potentially not going to be ready for opening day. It's just like, who has the voodoo doll on the Met? Like who's cursing the Mets? I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense.
I thought somebody had the Wilpons voodoo doll, but apparently they've got Steve Cohen's also. Because I mean, Jesus Christ. Yeah. So yeah, I'm going 92.
Yeah, it feels about right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what I said last year, 92 though. And obviously last year was such a weird fluky year, but
dude, there's no one could have predicted that.
Yeah,
no one could have predicted. I had them winning 96.
I think their over under was about the same. It was around 90, 91 last year.
So. Well, that's because everybody hates the Braves.
Yeah. So I feel like 92 seems right, but it'd be awesome if they did better than that. So Riley home runs, 31.5. So obviously he had 33 last year.
Really?
So 31.5. What do you think?
I might go win some money on that one because there's no way he's hitting less than 31, right?
I don't know. I was just thinking about it. I'm like,
in this lineup with Ozuna hitting behind him, I've got him over.
I'm just
40.
like, is he gonna be is he gonna hit as many? Like I was just saying, like if he's what he is, then it's incredible. But if maybe last year he overperformed a little of what we're going to see, maybe it's high 20s.
I'm thinking because I mean, who was hitting behind him last year? I can't even remember. Duvall.
Yeah, I'm thinking the first half of the year he usually was hitting cleanup, right? So who the heck did we have behind him? I can't even remember.
Guillermo Heredia or something like that. Like, that
might have been before he got hurt.
He didn't have anybody around him last year, and this year he's going to have. Clearly it's going to go Acuna, Olsen. I don't know.
Maybe Ozuna. Yeah, that's what I am wondering how they're going to do the lineup. But either way, no matter what the lineup, like 1 through at least like 7 is still pretty good. So depending how much you believe in the whole like.
I don't think they'd hit Rosario 3.
I feel like Ozzy could be 3 against especially lefties.
This is something very interesting about Ozzy Albies. Ozzy Albies played a significant amount of cleanup last year. And he was phenomenal out of the cleanup spot. He had like hold on, let me look it up because it was eye popping. I was like, whoa, really? Let's see, Ozzy. Let's see. It's down in the second half. Yeah, let's see. Clean up. Oh, I gotta get down there. Sorry. Batting 4th.
That's okay.
Okay, that's not what I thought it was. Where did I see that then? Okay, well, anyways, batting 4th, he hit like. Okay, that's what it was. I was looking at it wrong. So that kind of plays into what we're talking about. He hit 296 out of the 3 spot.
Okay.
So that could be a 3-hole hitter right there.
Yeah. And I feel like it seems like 1 and 2 and 4 are your best like hitters. And I feel like 3 is a good spot for him because he will get on base. He will, he'll hit for power. So, and he's a good base runner ahead of those guys. So I see, I'm thinking like before, Acuna comes back, I don't know who they're going to hit lead off. Is it going to be Rosario? Is it going to be
that's
Ozzy?
What it looks like is Rosario.
Yeah. And then Olsen, and then whether it's Ozzy, then like Riley, Ozuna, Duvall, Darno.
I just feel like you have to bat Riley, even though Ozuna was brought in to be our cleanup hitter. There's been a lot that's happened since that. So Riley deserves that spot.
And also it's just like, I don't care if he's 5 or 6, if he's doing what he's doing. Like, it's like we have enough in our lineup. It's not a bad problem to have if, we need to hit him 5 instead of 4. Like, it just shows that we have the teams that can do that.
That's how I feel about it. And I want to see Riley hit 4th. And because of that,
I know. I definitely like him there.
I think he'll hit 40 home runs with Ozuna behind him.
That'd be awesome, man.
I mean, he's going to sell out a little bit more, I think. Yeah. I mean, I can see it, but
I know you were saying that with his average might, go down to a 265, but he may pop 40 home runs. Yeah. I was thinking about it this morning, with like before Acuna comes back, the DH situation. Because I feel like against righties, Dickerson seems like he's going to be our DH. That seems like where it is right now.
That's what it seems like.
And then, Ozuna will be in right field, and then Duvall and Rosario. But I think against lefties, Heredia was decent last year against lefties. So I feel like you got it.
You mean Ozuna in left field, right?
Yeah, did I say right field?
You said right field. I was like, wait.
Yeah, Ozuna in left, Rosario in right, Duvall in center against lefties. Then I feel like against lefties, you DH Ozuna, you put Heredia in center, Duvall in left, Rosario in right. That's like my think of. I think that's how it should be before Acuna comes back.
I'm with it.
Because I feel like Heredia is a true center fielder. So that's how I think.
Yeah.
That's where I'm looking at it.
Of course.
And then you just kind of get, Ozuna out of that.
I knocked my whole table just now. Everything.
Everything went crashing down. But that's a separate conversation.
Okay.
Entirely. So you're at, you're over. I don't know. I feel like it's going to be about 30. I don't know. But you're so right about like just the other guys in the lineup, if depending on how much you know.
Yeah. And that's where I put all of it is just on who's batting behind him. And I think because of Ozuna, he's going to see a lot more pitches to hit than he did last year. That's just what I see.
Which is a crazy proposition.
Oh, God, it'd be wild.
I like it. I love the over. Mm-hmm. I'm just deciding if I believe it's
yeah, I feel you.
Okay. But we'll move on to, I won't make I'm going to say under, I'm going to say 30. I'm just going to say, because.
Okay.
Olsen, 39.5.
Homers,
39 last year, 39.5 over under this year. I go under with him. Different pitching. You've got the National League pitching. So I feel like, it might be 38. I'm not saying he's going to hit 25, but
I go under. I'm with you around 37, 38. I do have a question though. Mm-hmm. Who do you think hits more, him or Freddie? Him, right?
I hope so.
Me too.
I can't
God,
imagine.
It would be so...
But I also, what's funny though is we also are playing the AL West, which was the division he played in. So I'm like, he might see, some of those pitchers,
some familiarity.
Yeah. We do play in Oakland, that sort of thing. So
yeah,
I want to say under, but just under. Like, I think he's gonna have a pretty good. I think he's gonna hit more than Freddie. Freddie only hit 31 last year.
33.
Okay, yeah, right? I still think I
think it was because
I know Riley hit 33. I know he was more than 30, but
you're right. Riley hit 33. So Freddie hit.
I don't think it was that many.
I think you're right at 31. That makes sense. I know somebody hit 31. Somebody hit 30. And Freddie Freeman hit 31. You're correct.
Okay. So Ozzy must have been 30. Yeah. So,
but Ozzy was 30. Yeah. And Dansby was creeping on it. So I'm going to be bold. I'm going to go over, actually.
You're going to go over?
Yeah, because I didn't realize we were playing the AL West.
Yeah, it is a consideration.
And I got to go with with my guys that I went with last week and said that we were going to have 3 guys who hit 40 homers. So 2 of those that I've just questioned. You
got to go over.
Yeah, I got to go over. I have to. So
I love it. Again, I'm saying under, just under, but I still think he's gonna mash a lot of them.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the final one for the home runs is Acuna at 36.5.
I have a hard time going over on that one
Mhm.
just because of the missed month.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, just to so I'm guessing like what he plays, he's gonna miss what, probably 30 games.
That sounds,
Put him
a
around
month-ish,
130 games. Last year he hit 24 in
Mhm.
82 games.
Mhm.
So
yeah, and in 2019 he hit 41.
So stretch that 24, that 162 average out to 130 games. It's at 38.
Mm.
So,
because if he comes back and he's just 110%, then yeah, I think it's over.
Yeah.
But if he,
especially with the chip on his shoulders,
that sort of thing, yeah.
I'm going under on that one.
Yeah, I think
I'm going under on that one because I think it would be unfair to expect Ronald Acuna to hit close to 40 home runs and miss 30 games.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, I'm going under on that one. But what did you say it was? 36?
36.5.
36.5. I think he'll hit 35.
That's
so under, but I mean, just barely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for some reason, I went under on all three, but that's kind of
okay.
That's what I'm feeling.
All right.
But not by much. Not by much. Okay.
Yeah.
So this one is an RBI for Duvall. 109.5.
I saw it. Yeah, I saw. That's insanity.
Yeah,
to expect him to do what he did last year.
Yeah, last year I had 113, which is pretty wild.
I'm definitely under that.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'll have 100. I don't think he's gonna get anywhere near 109 though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it feels like that won't happen.
Yeah. I mean, it would be hard to, especially because last year was, I mean, it was a career year for Adam Duvall.
Yeah.
No doubt. Like anybody who has watched Adam Duvall play baseball, and a lot of people always say, like, do you expect him to repeat that? Well, kind of, yeah, because if you look at his career, he has always been his lead or his 162 average is around 35 to 38 home runs and around 100 RBIs. So if he does what he did last year for us this year, beautiful. Let him walk and get a nice fat contract in free agency after that. So
yeah, I'm glad he's, that we got him back. He's just such a good guy, and he's a good friend. It's just like, and it's crazy from what was it, 2018 that we traded for him, and I remember it was just like, oh my gosh, this guy. I think it was like he was just hitless with us. Like
everybody was horrible. Like, DFA
and
this
who
guy.
Who's this guy? And then he just like went down there and in 2019, and he just really actually figured it out. That's like
crushed down there.
Yeah, and he's been consistent since. So I love that for him.
But
yeah, fun. I think under too. Okay, well, I'll stick with the offensive stuff. So hits for Ozzy, 173.5. Last year he had 163. And that was, I mean, he didn't really miss any time or anything. So I think under. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going under. I want to believe in 2019 Ozzy. But I've just yet to see it, so I want to see it. I'm going under so that I can be the guy who says, "Oh, damn it, I should have taken the over." That's why I want to go.
I would love to be proven wrong in all of these, like because it's hard to go over and then you're just like, oh, now I'm disappointed because I really thought he did more, So it's like, yeah, if he wants to hit 175 hits, by all means, Ozzy.
Yep, I'm with it. Yep.
Yeah, so I agree.
I mean, he did lead the league in 2019 though. So there's that. Again,
he can do it. Yeah,
I'm going under because I want to be the guy who puts bad juju on him and makes him feel like he has to step it up.
And then one more. So this is Charlie Morton strikeouts, 185.5, and I am hammering the over on this.
Oh yeah. What did he have last year?
216.
Yeah. Oh yeah. What the hell? So what do they expect him to be injured half the year?
Like, I was like, I don't see any reason that he would be that much
listen,
30 fewer.
okay,
Yeah.
I'd like to meet the guy who came up with that
These
and just be like,
arbitrary
dude,
numbers. Yeah.
he struck out Jose Altuve on a broken leg. Are you fucking serious? Like,
How dare you doubt
yeah,
Charlie
how
Morton?
would you? We will drive to Las Vegas and take care of this. Yeah, there's no way. No way. That is a huge discrepancy.
Yeah, that would be pretty not good. But yeah, no, I'm just like
Yeah, because Charlie has strikeout stuff, like 100%. So for him to be that low, it would mean he's missed a lot of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's extremely durable. Yeah, he broke his leg in the World Series, but guess what? He threw 4.2 innings pitched last week. And he's supposed to be ready to start game 2 of the season. So yeah, no way. Nope.
Over all day. And then just some odds for MVP. Ronnie's at plus 700. Olsen at plus 2,200. I put some money on that. And Riley at plus 2,500.
Yeah, I'd put some money on Olsen for sure. I mean, I'd put money on Riley, or excuse me, on Freddie. Not Freddie. God, I'd put money on Ronnie as well.
Yeah, 700 feels.
But I just wouldn't make that much because that's just too easy. I mean, 700. It's not that much. But I mean, man, I just think that the league is going to realize very quickly when Ronald Acuna returns just how scary the Atlanta Braves are going to be. I was watching a John Boy thing the other day and they were like, this lineup, man, like, it's pretty good, but it just feels like it's missing something. And it was John Boy, but it was Jake. It was Jake, but it was his Wake and Jake podcast that he does. And it was him and BBD. And BBD was like, oh, I just realized why this lineup looks thin. And he's like, why? And he's like, oh, because Acuna is going to miss the first month. And they were both like,
that's right. An MVP
scary lineup.
To the lineup. And it's just
top 5 player in baseball. I don't care about your rankings, MLB.
It's like you can't obviously expect every one of these guys to overperform, right? But if you just think like, if this lineup is just like somehow everything clicks and they're at their best and Ronnie comes back and there's a possibility this team wins 97 games.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this is a team that can do that. So,
well, somebody told me the other day, like, oh, I guess the NL East is just going to win 88 games again. That's who's going to win it. And I was like, and of course it was a Dodgers fan. It was Jesse. I'm sure everybody's aware of Dodger Jesse. Him and Giuseppe have a podcast together or whatever. And I was just like, well, yeah, like we don't get to play the D-backs and the Rockies 19 times each. Like if we were in that division, we'd probably win 107 games also. But we're not. And we've got 4 good teams, and the Marlins are going to be really good. People are underestimating the Marlins still.
I fully agree.
So,
yeah, like I was trying to do like my predictions of like the standings and all that, and I'm just like, I'm just like, I don't know. Like I'm like the Braves. I feel like unless something goes really wrong, or the Mets or the Phillies, I feel like it's Braves, and then I'm like, is it Mets then Phillies then Marlins? Is it Braves then Phillies then Marlins then Met? Like I feel like and those 3 teams could. I don't know. I feel like it
I've got the Braves on top, and I'm going to have the Braves on top until one of those teams proves me.
No, absolutely.
Yeah. Now they proved to me last year they should not be on top, and then I'm a dummy and they won the World Series. So that was it. It is what it is. But I mean, I'm sure we were all happy about it. I mean, yeah. So
it's all right. I'd take that again.
Yeah, I mean, we can do that again if we want to be 50 and 51 on July 30th again, and trade for a bunch of no-name guys and just ride them to the World Series. Cool. We can do that every year. I don't care. As long as I know it's turning out that way. That's awesome. So, yeah.
Yep.
There's the one other thing that I want to go over before we jump off of here is the home run derby thing, or the home run pool thing that I want to do this year. And just to let everybody know what that's going to be is Colleen and I will both pick a player, a Brave, for now. Maybe in the future we'll do other players. I don't know. But we're going to pick a Brave for now. And we're going to pick, say I pick Austin Riley. And I say I think Austin Riley is going to hit 3 home runs this week. Austin Riley is my guy for that week. So if he hits a home run, I get a point. Now, if I nail the number of home runs that he hit, and I say he's going to hit 3 home runs this week, then I get 5 points for the week. And then at the end of the year, we'll see where we lie, and whoever wins, we'll get a little fun little thing going on, whatever it'll be. Yeah. Bragging rights for sure. Yeah. And then, I don't know, maybe this Tyler Matzik ball, probably never. That's a joke. I would never do that. So yeah. I don't know. We'll figure something out. That'd be fun. Mm-hmm. So, have you thought on that at all? Do you have a guy?
I have a guy
for week 1.
Mm-hmm. So week 1, I guess, is just really the Red Series since it's not a full week. We'll just do those 4 games.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going Duvall, and I'm just gonna say one. I'm gonna say 1 home run for Duvall
and 1
in the Red Series.
Going safe.
I am. Well, it's only 4 games, so I'm like, okay, we'll see. Yeah.
But that's also his former team, and we know how Duvall plays against former teams because we were the former team that got fucking lit up. All right, I'm going Matt Olsen.
Nice. That'd be awesome if he hits
opening weekend.
Opening weekend, man.
Opening weekend at Truist Park. I'm going 2 home runs.
I love it.
First weekend.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think he's going to homer in the first game.
Oh, I love it.
I'd love to see him go Jay Hay and homer in the first at bat and just.
Oh my God.
The walls just
the Braves
crumble.
Legend status solidified. In the first at bat.
It would be amazing. So.
Burns the ground.
But so I'm going to write that down. You got Duvall.
Yep. I'm saying Duvall with 1.
With 1. And if Duvall hits 4 or 5, you still get those 4 or 5 points, whatever. So I'm going to Olsen with 2. We'll visit that next week and see where we're at then. So, yeah. All right.
We're both right.
Yeah. Hopefully. Yeah. Always. So, all right. Well, I think that's pretty much all we got for this week. So, we've got some fun things going on this week. It's going to be an even more fun episode next week. We've got opening day coming up, which, just to remind everybody, if you didn't catch that, it got moved to ESPN2 at 8:30, right?
I think 8.
Okay.
But yeah,
I think 8 is when it starts, and I think we're going to get to see the ceremony.
Yeah.
And the raising of the banner. Yeah, like all that fun stuff. And yeah. So, so look forward to that. We'll cover that next week. But you guys have a good week.
All right. Take care, everyone.